We have toughness with everything, mentally, physically. Like, we're a tough team, and we can handle adversity. So no matter what, they're going to make their runs. They're going to make a couple threes. I think we're good. We're in a good place.
This might be the most exciting time of my career. You know, and with the Spurs, we went to the Western Conference twice, but I think this might be the best I've felt about trying to go for a championship. And I'm super excited, and I think the team's ready to go, and I think we've got a real shot.
I was told that you and Giannis enjoy playing cards, and that's a time that sometimes on planes and such you guys can bond and kind of talk about what's going on the court. What are those interactions like? How are they helpful to you?
Man, I lost a lot of money in them games. But nah, man, I think it's a bonding. It's time for bonding, and talk about a lot of things, life, not just basketball. So it's a good time to bond.
Do you think it's been helpful in kind of adjusting to what the Bucks culture is, the Bucks mentality, and what they want to do, what Giannis's vision is?
I don't know if it's that deep. I think we're just having fun, talking and trying to enjoy our time together. So, yeah.
That's important too. Thank you so much.
Eric Name.
What's up, Bryn? Obviously, throughout the season, we've talked about just how hot you can get from three. That becomes even more important in the playoffs. Like, being able to have a second quarter where you hit 2 or 3 in a 30-second span, like that can be huge. So just how excited are you for this opportunity and this chance to, kind of make a big impact in a postseason series?
Man, this might be the most exciting time of my career. And with the Spurs, we went to the Western Conference twice, but I think this might be the best I've felt about trying to go for a championship. So, man, I'm super excited, and I think the team's ready to go, and I think we've got a real shot.
Obviously, the Heat really make you work defensively, just kind of with how much they cut and the different talented players that they have. How difficult do you kind of, just watching them on film, do you see all the cutting that they do? How difficult does that make it?
I think that is one thing. I think they back cut, and they do more of those. They curl screens, and because of their shooting ability, that they're allowed to do that because you're chasing so hard. But I think we've got a good game plan in to combat that. But I think it's going to be we're going to really have to be focused and locked in this series, especially defensively, because there's a lot of little things that they do that is hard for teams to guard. And but I think we got a good game plan in, and I think it's going to really just come down to focus and execution.
Jim Ozarski.
Hey, Bryn. You mentioned the experience with the Spurs. Yeah, obviously, different teams, you're a different guy, different player at this point in your career. What can you take from that? Is it just the length of it and knowing how your body feels, or is it totally different because it's been a few years?
I think the whole preparation part and stuff is the same, but I think this year it really feels different because we've had so much time to prepare. It makes you feel really good about going into the game, because this is the most we've had to prepare for a team all year, obviously. Right. But with a whole week, I feel like we've got a good flow going and we got a good game plan, and I'm just excited to be out there and put it to use.
Is there, so like when we think of experience, like with deep playoff runs, how do you think of it? Is it just, do you look back and think about like the atmosphere of it, or or is there an intensity level that's different than, like a first round series? Like, how do you Yeah.
You're playing for a championship berth, so that's always going to be a little more, the playoffs are already intense, and, everybody's ready to go, but, that's a different level. That's a different level playing in that, having the opportunity to play for a championship. And, you're even here would be in the Eastern Conference Finals, which would be, that's still huge. But, yeah, I think there is probably a different intensity going into that. But also I think, I'm extremely excited about this one, and I'm keeping my eyes on this one, winning this one, and then, keep going game by game.
Is there a benefit, do you think, to not just your experience, but I think obviously the Pat, Giannis, Chris, they did this a couple years ago with the Bucks. I think PJ's been to a West Final as well. Yeah. Is there something to that there's at least a handful of you guys who have gotten to that point, whereas like Drew or Bob or even Bobby's, this is his first go around all together or second, you know what I mean? So what kind of benefit do you think there is for you guys that there's a handful of you to have kind of done this?
I actually think I played PJ in a Western Conference Final like 3-4 years ago. That's funny. But no, man, I think that's a big thing, having experience, and there's a bunch of guys with playoff experience and even conference final experience. So, I mean, I think that only to know what you're up against and know how it goes is important, this not being the first go-around. But, yeah, I think the experience is huge and knowing the intensity and how different playoffs is compared to regular season. Teams have so much time to prepare for you and everything you do well, and some adjustments have to be made and different things like that. So, having that experience is huge, and it should help us in the long run.
Thank you.
All right, that's it. Thanks, Bryn.
Thank you.
It's funny. A lot of your teammates have been asked to this point about, last year's series and this year. I mean, for you, obviously you saw minutes, but you're in a much different role. So when you look back at last year, what do you take from that, I guess? Because it is so different for you in terms of what's being asked of you, how much you play, that type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, last year, first and foremost. They're a different team. We're a different team. But, they still have the same culture. We still have the same culture. They play hard, and so do we. So for me, going into this year, I just no different. Just keep doing what I've been doing all year. Just being aggressive, making the right decisions, and playing hard. I think for me, just going in and focusing on playing hard and kind of matching their energy and matching their physicality is going to be most important for me.
I know you guys are looking at this playoff as a series as a team, but for you individually this year, we talked with you a lot about your growth, things that you've done differently, done better. Were you able to take stock of that at all, or has it all just been, what's ahead of you right now?
Honestly, I let you guys do that, and I just go out there and try to play hard. Honestly, I just go out there and try to win games. I think when we win games, it's good, and everything starts to go in the right direction. And I think this year we learned a lot in the losses we've had and a couple of the slumps that we were in. Personally and as a team, I think we learned a lot, and we're ready to go for this playoff series.
Great, thank you.
Eric, name?
What's up, Donte? I asked a couple of the guys about just how much the Heat cut. Like, that's kind of like the big thing offensively, that they're just going to cut and cut and cut. Just kind of what does that do for you guys defensively? I know that can sometimes make switching more maybe easier or harder. There's slips involved. Like, just kind of what do you kind of view as that challenge of them cutting just so much?
Yeah, I mean, they're moving nonstop. So I think at the end of the day, you just got to take individual pride of staying with your man and honestly just ball pressure and making the passes hard. You watch film all year, a lot of those guys are making precise passes with no pressure on them. So I think just getting into them, being physical, making them work as much as possible on both ends of the floor. I think if you make them work on their defensive end, they're not going to cut as hard on their offensive end. So just making them work every single second of the game.
I'm not going to pretend to know exactly who you're matched up against, but didn't feel like sharing that with me yesterday. I thought it was kind of rude, but that's okay. I guess for you, a guy like Goran Dragic is just so good in that in-between range, and he showed that off last year. Just kind of what is the challenge when, typically you guys are trying to get over and force the mid-range jumper, but he's obviously very good at that and the floater.
Yeah, I mean, he's crafty. He'll stop behind the screen too, draw fouls. He'll stop behind the screen and shoot threes. I mean, he can score at all three levels. And the tough part about him is he gets downhill and he can throw that throwback pass and the lob really well. So I think just with all their guards, honestly, it's just getting into them. Like I said, being physical. This is going to be a physical matchup. It's going to be a physical individual pride matchup, and you just can't let them get to their spots because they're extremely good when they get to the spots that they want.
Obviously, we know they're going to try to build that wall against Giannis. 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, anything that they can do, that puts a lot of responsibility on all you guys to knock down shots. Just kind of what's your mentality going into this game, knowing that you're probably going to get a whole bunch of looks?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be enhanced in the playoffs, but you've seen it this year a little bit from different teams. They've tried to build walls for Giannis, and just got to make the right play. Catch and shoot, let it fly, and also just kind of penetrate that wall and get behind them. When you can get behind them, then they got to scramble, and then we get the looks that we want to get.
Zora?
Donte, you talked about physicality and toughness, and I asked PJ about that the other day, and he said, like, that is going to be the series. Toughness and grit is going to be the series. So obviously you're in the nitty-gritty of X's and O's, but how do you prepare just to be tough and match the energy of the Heat?
I mean, even you got it or you don't, honestly. I think I think us team, top to bottom, we have it. We got guys that start that have it, guys off the bench that have it. And what's crazy is our coaching staff has it. We have toughness with everything, mentally, physically. Like, we're a tough team, and we can handle adversity. So no matter what, they're going to make their runs. They're going to make a couple threes. I think we're good. We're in a good place. And like you said, just being able to get your body ready, your mind ready, just ready for a long series.
What did you use these 5-6 days off for?
Like, get my mind right, get my body right. This is the first time all year that we've had multiple days without a game, so it's been great. We had a couple good practices, so it's been honestly good for me to just kind of get back in a normal routine of how it used to be. So I liked it.
Darius Joshua?
And Donte, kind of following that, I guess, how much does the anticipation build when you're used to just going day to day, game every other day, and then now you're had 5 days ready for before the the best part of the season, really?
Yeah, I mean, as competitors, you want to play a game every day, but also you got to be able to take care of your body. Your body wears down over the course of the year, so it was tough. Like, a couple days go by, we're ready to play, but the coaches did a good job of making sure sticking to the plan of practice hard when we're in here, and then when we're out of here, take care of your body as much as possible. So that's been the thing. Obviously, we all want to play, no matter who it was. We got matched up with Miami, so that's who we're going to be excited to play. But the week has been long. Let's just say that.
And Giannis brought up an interesting thing where he said pressure is earned, and obviously, as a team, as the Bucks, you guys were the top seed in the Eastern Conference. That kind of comes with its own sort of set of pressure. I guess what sort of as a team, kind of sense of that pressure or feeling or whatever heading into this playoffs do you feel like you guys have, being a different team that wants to go further than you've gone in the past?
Everybody has their different opinion, different view on it. I like where we're at this year. I think last year, forget how many wins, 60-something wins last year or whatever it was, and we're the number one seed. We had all this hype coming in and ending the season the way we did. I think this year, we had ups and downs. It wasn't just a clear cut. We ran through the regular season. I think we had some ups and downs. We had some struggles. So going into the playoffs, I would say, obviously by the seeding we're the favorite, but anybody can win. So I think that's our kind of our mentality, is not going in as we're the one seed over everybody. We're grinding and we're trying to beat anybody that we get matched up against, whoever it is.
All right, thanks, Donte. Appreciate it.